Sunshine FM, Andrea Kirwin, my special guest in the studios this morning. Andrea's going to be appearing at the Big Sunshine Coast Readers and Writers Festival coming up on the 12th and 13th of August at Coolum. And it's where I saw her last year, the inaugural festival, and I thought, wow, this girl is something else. Andrea, welcome.
Thanks, Cam. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, now you haven't been doing music for that long, really, have you? You started late in life?
Yeah, well, I've always sung. I grew up singing. My mother's a Fijian church minister, and we grew up having, church every day, singing every day. But I didn't pick up a guitar and start songwriting until I was 21.
Well, it's a national pastime in Fiji, singing.
It is.
It is, isn't it?
That and rugby.
And rugby.
Yeah.
I was just about to say. Well, that's fantastic. You didn't pick the guitar up till late in life, and that's when you decided you'd write some stuff as well?
Yeah. I found learning guitar when I was younger. We had this old guitar in the house, and it had old rusty steel strings, and it hurt my hand to play. So I was put off learning guitar. But when I was at university, I started going to some folk concerts and saw some amazing artists like Claire Bowditch and the Feeding Set and a few other people play at the A&U bar in Canberra when I was at uni there. And I just totally got inspired to pick up a guitar and start songwriting. Okay,
well, where do you start with that then? You pick it up and go, oh, how do you play G and a C, and how do you do this and how do you do that?
It's funny, I approach it from a melody point of view, so I just layer melodies on top of each other. I usually start with a guitar melody that has some kind of groove behind it, so it moves along. It's not just, 4 strums on the beat.
Am I glazing over here?
It's pretty simple, actually.
I think I understand.
Yeah, and then after that I write some lyrics and put it on top of a vocal melody.
So do you write the melody first and then the lyrics?
Yeah.
Okay, how does that work? Is that a natural thing?
Yeah, it all just comes into my head. I think that I see myself as a songwriter first and then a performer second, because the songs they're constantly coming, like, every week I'll probably write 2 or 3 songs and just record it onto my phone, and I've saved all my old phones over the last about 5-6 years, and so I've got these old phones with hundreds of songs on them.
You can download that to a computer,
Yes, I do know that, but I'll get there.
You'll get there eventually. Now, it's interesting that you say you're a performer second and a writer first, because I saw you last year, and I wasn't the only one. Everyone in the room was totally mesmerised with what you were doing up there. They were taken in by the emotion you were displaying in those songs anyway.
It was a pretty special place to play. I hadn't played at the Coolum Civic Centre before, and it's a wonderful stage, and they had an amazing sound system, and I think that's half the battle. If you turn up somewhere and they've set it up really nicely, and everyone that came along last year was just there to experience something they hadn't experienced before. We were talking about the slam poetry, and it was wonderful to perform with my sister, and we just did our island harmonies and told our stories. And I think with the International Readers and Writers Festival part of it, I really like to tell stories before the songs, so people can kind of know what's gone into the songwriting.
I'll put the pressure on you now, because you're going to sing for us in a moment. So, but you've got a cigar box guitar with you, and they're a handmade instrument, and they're made here locally, aren't they? I think.
Yeah, I bought this one from the Monday markets.
3-string guitar, and they're really unique, aren't they? And they sound great.
Yeah, there's quite a few local artists that play them. Amazing blues brother Matt Stillett plays it, and also Juzzy Smith, who's quite well known, and plays harmonica with them, but I'm not that coordinated with harmonica yet. So
the interesting thing about that, they're an interesting history. They were made in America back in the early days by poor black people who couldn't afford a guitar, and they get the cigar box and put a bit of timber on it and wax some strings, normally out of wire or whatever they could find, and that's what they made their guitars out of. And look at the thing today. They're a sought after instrument. And
they sound amazing plugged in too.
All right. Well, let's. What are you going to play for us today?
The first song I'm going to play, the story behind it is my mum's one of 11 children. She's Fijian, so they have big families over there, and I've got 86 first cousins. So this song is about when the boys want to take girls out on dates. When I was younger, we'd go back there, and I had this idea of, maybe they'd take them out to a restaurant or to the movies like they do here in Australia, but the boys said no, they've got no money for dates or anything like that, so they just go stand under the lemon tree outside the girl's house and hope she comes outside.
Wow.
So this song,
like dating in Australia, really.
yeah. So just stand under the gum tree.
Okay.
This song's called Under the Lemon Tree. Standing waiting for you under the lemon tree. I know that you will make me feel alright. I've been thinking of you, what would my mind is. Your love, it keeps me picking up all night. They ain't got no money to go on no dates, but I know, honey, an open heart is all it takes. So I'll find a way. I've been dreaming of you, yeah, you're the only one. I know that this could be a lifetime of love. I've been praying for you, up to the Lord above. For you alone I'm saving all my love. Ain't got no money to go on no dates, but I know, honey, an open heart is all it takes. So I'll find a way. Ooh, yeah. Feel alright, yeah. I've been longing for you, nobody else compares. And if you're lonely, you know I'll be here. Standing waiting for you under the lemon tree. I know that you and me can feel alright. Ooh, yeah, feel alright. But I'll feel alright, yeah.
Andrea Kirwin, and what a great song that is. Interesting that people have said about you that if Joan Armatrading, Janice and Joni Mitchell could have a baby, it would be you. Who says that sort of stuff, and what do you think about that?
Well, I prefer that to another one I get compared to, like, looks-wise, I get compared to an early Michael Jackson.
No, you don't know.
No, yeah, that's what I say. So I'm super happy. I love all those artists. I've listened to a lot of Janice Ian, and I even sent her an email the other day, and she replied.
Wow.
And just
cool.
Said thanks for contacting, and glad that she could be an influence. So that's pretty special.
Now you've got a couple of albums too, haven't you?
I do.
What are they? Your first one was The Story of Us. Is that
No,
right?
my first one was From the Ground Up.
Oh, From the Ground Up.
And
Yeah.
you've got my second and third albums there. So the second one is The Story of Us, which I did recorded in Mulaney, and then the latest one is Just Me and My Sister Live, and that one's called A Quiet Revolution.
All right. And you got a song from this one again, of course?
Yeah, well, I just played Under the Lemon Tree, which is off my latest album, which you can find on iTunes, Spotify, but also they sell copies of it at Berkelo Books in Yamundi.
Okay.
And the second song I was going to play is called I Will Sing For You, which I wrote for a local family who has a son who sometimes when he gets a common cold, they have to put him on a breathing apparatus because for some reason, yeah, he just has a sickness that really affects their ability to kind of go out and live life. So I wrote this song for them. It's called I Will Sing For You. There are no words I could say to take away your pain, but I will send my love to keep writing up your name. You're in my thoughts and in my heart tonight. When it all gets too much, I'll be by your side. Oh, I'll be by your side. Whoa, 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 I will be by your side. I see you're working hard to make it through the week. I see it in your eyes, and I feel it in the words you speak. And as you walk away, I give a silent prayer. No matter what may come, please know that I am here. When the storm is raging in your life, I'll be there to ferry you to the other side. Oh, to the other side. Whoa, 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 to the other side. And when the day is done and we've all flown back home, I pray you feel my love and you don't feel alone. And as you fall asleep and you start to dream, in my heart I'll keep the space for you to me. If I cannot cross the seas to be with you, well, please know that tonight I will sing for you. Oh, I will sing for you. Whoa, I will sing for you.
Andrea Kirwin on Sunshine FM. Andrea, thanks very much for coming in today.
Thanks, Cam. Thanks for having me.
And you can see Andrea at the Sunshine Coast International Readers and Writers Festival, August 12th and 13th. And you can go online to the website, Sunshine Coast International Readers and Writers Festival, and grab your tickets there. And you get an early bird discount if you get in pretty early too, so that sounds absolutely fantastic.